My name is Kurt Klaus. Thank you for being here today for our monthly Agent Advantage webinar. These are brought to you by the Guarantee Rate companies. See, people are logging on. Today's webinar, we will discuss how your job as a real estate agent is about so much more than the transaction, more than just buying and selling houses. You should not only be the real estate expert in your market, but we'll talk about how you should become experts and champions for knowledge and strategies to help people, not just find a home, but to build wealth and inform and educate people on real estate investing. So more to kind of think outside of the transaction to grow your business, be more relevant in your community. And as an agent, you should represent your neighborhood. You should be a consultant and give back and be involved in the community. So not just sell, buy, and build houses, but build relationships as a byproduct of that and help change lives. It's really much bigger, change lives of individuals, help communities grow, and obviously get referrals. So this webinar will help you improve on this. Again, help you grow your business. It's titled Help Your Clients Dream, Plan, and Execute, which is the strategy and the concept that was created by our guest speakers today, the Downing brothers, Anthony and Anton. We'll bring them on to share with us how they created this concept. And we want to inspire you personally to improve you, the real estate agent, personally, but also what you can help your clients do and help them do the same thing. So before we bring them on, we want to remind you that this live monthly webinar series is brought to you by Agent Advantage. Agent Advantage is our proprietary no-cost website. It is marketing tools and coaching and loan status, and it can be accessed at agents.rate.com. If you're not already part of Agent Advantage, we do have a version of the site for our Guarantee Rate affinity company. That is agents.grarate.com. Also our Proper Rate group, agents.properrate.com. And this entire webinar series that we do, which is all about promoting agent excellence, is all housed on the Agent Advantage website. So past webinars with all different topics, again, just to help you, the real estate agent, are on Agent Advantage. So check that out if you're not already part of the site. Also, quick plug for our brand new Agent Advantage Insider Facebook page. We just rolled this out in May. We have over 1,000 members on board so far. This is a private, closed Facebook group. Again, same idea behind this. It's tips and content. It's a forum with other agents, but it's all about what's going on in your industry today. And you can actually scan that QR code right on the PowerPoint you're watching if you want to join, or simply go to Agent Advantage Insider on Facebook and request to join that group. So let's get going. Before I bring in Anthony and Anton, I remind you that these are live webinars. We want you to ask questions. It's the reason we do them live. So anything you want to know or ask these guys, please use the chat question feature in the GoTo. We have blocked time at the very end of the webinar to open it up for live questions. So please use the feature there and ask your questions. I think Danielle has added a join link into the chat there if you want to go straight to the Facebook page. So to introduce our speakers today, let's get rolling. We are very fortunate and grateful for them both being here. I know they're busy and they're all over the place. They are a natural fit with Guaranteed Rate, and our culture, Guaranteed Rate, was founded here in Chicago, and these guys are local from the South Side, closer to Guarantee Rate Field where the Sox play. Their Dream, Plan, Execute philosophy, I think, aligns really well with Guarantee Rate's Believe You Will campaign, and we've included them in our as ambassadors in our national commercials and TV ads. You may know Anthony and Anton from the HGTV show, Property Brothers Double Down. Right now they're starring in Backyard Bar Wars, which is on True TV. And they started at an early age and learned from their family the value of kind of how life-changing benefits can come from home ownership and real estate investment. And since then, they focus on educating and improving people's lives, and bigger than that, improving the communities they live in. So we thought it'd be perfect to bring them on to share this with our agent audience, not only to help you personally, but that you can help your clients. Hello, welcome. Thank you for being here, Anthony and Anton. How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Appreciate your time, and we're thrilled to have you on.
Thank you for having us. Well, we love opportunities to spread our message and to open people's minds to to the possibility of both running a business and having your transactions, but also being transformational in the way you impact the communities you serve.
Absolutely. I'm also one of 5 brothers. Is it odd for the two of you to always be referred to as the brothers or the twins instead of people saying your first names?
Man, you get used to it over the decades. Yeah, just comes with the territory.
Yeah, I bet. I kept saying the Downing brothers. I'm like, I've never even mentioned them by name. But to lead in, maybe you can kind of introduce yourselves to our agent audience and tell us how a super interesting story, how you got started in real estate from being a firefighter to the first home back in, I think, 2013 to what you're doing today.
All right. Well, I'll start. This is Anthony Downing. I'm actually 20 minutes older than my brother. I'll get that out the way. Then I'm the oldest. And yeah, so we're from the south side of Chicago, and went to Chicago Public Schools, Morgan Park High School, graduated from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and eventually came back to Chicago, and we both became firefighters. But even before we joined the fire department, back in 2009 and 2007 actually is when I, Anthony, purchased my first property right before the recession hit, and had to figure out kind of quickly within 1 year purchasing that property how I was going to avoid foreclosure and still make the most of buying my first home. And in that process, that's how we ended up finding out that maybe it would be a good idea to renovate homes so that we can find value, so that we can still create equity, so that we can still take advantage of the power of real estate.
Yeah, and I love it. And we just talked about kind of focusing on the community first, and that's what both of you did by helping your neighborhood by being firefighters, and the rest was kind of a byproduct. Or think of all the people you've met through being involved in the community that way.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things. We've never gone too far from home. I mean, as firefighters, we actually own property in the same neighborhoods that we serve with the fire department. So we have multi-unit properties now. We flipped homes in various neighborhoods, and these are all places where we actually work and serve also. And then eventually, got discovered by one of our friends that we went to college with, which led to us being on HGTV. And I'll let my brother tell that story about how that happened. But I mean, really quickly, within 5 years of buying our first property, then we found ourselves on HGTV. So, yeah, tell them about that.
Okay, well, I think it's important to discuss the products that we use, because, using an FHA renovation loan really got us off into doing renovations. And what?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. And the podcast came, Homecoming with the Downing Brothers, and ways for us to discuss with the world, the country, how we got to real estate and how you can expand that and keep doing it over and over again. Many of you are realtors. I'm not sure, but I think some of you are loan officers as well. And I think that when you get clients that are going to be repeat customers, it's because you're teaching them how they can really expand their portfolio and how they can really make this a thing that's going to help them, make more income over the course of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe can you guys go into share with us the Dream Plan Execute, kind of the whole philosophy, maybe, where it came from, how you promote that, and how people, follow those, that kind of simple but powerful 3-step philosophy that you've always had.
Well, the idea of dreaming and planning and executing was linking what always starts as thoughts. We have these dreams, we daydream, we sleep at night, we dream about things that we want. But then when we wake up, it's all about, how do I get access to it? How do I become aware of what needs to take place in order for me to get the things that I dream about? Mm-hmm. And then there's so many people who dream about things, but they never take action on it. They never actually execute, take the physical steps and movements to actually make a dream come true. And so it's not enough to just dream about something, because it is important to dream, because you have to have something that you want. But you also have to make plans for it and do the research and figure out how to get from point A to point B, and then actually take the steps to do it. And so many people get stuck in the dream, or they get stuck in the plans, but never take action. And the last part is what we really are, advocate about. It's not enough to listen to podcasts for hours and hours, to watch TV for hours and hours, to read articles for hours and hours, and never actually take action. And that's the execute part of it. And so we break it into those 3 steps to kind of simplify this process. And at the end of the day, take action on the things that you dream about.
Yeah, and I would imagine once the goal is outlined and the strong plan is in place, that the execute part is probably the easiest of the 3.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, in the course of doing all the research and gathering, because for us, it's like the process of doing research, we research how we're going to get the financing. But once we do that, then we realize there are actual people attached to each part of this process. So we're developing these relationships as part of that planning process. So we have to develop a relationship with the loan officer, right? The broker that we're going to be dealing with to get financing. We're developing a relationship with the realtor, with the attorney, with the contractor, with the property manager. All these people that are involved in this chain, this process, that are all linked together. So it's just like, we dream of what we want, and part of that planning phase is to develop all these relationships, to become aware of what is required in order for us to then execute, which is actually purchase the property and then renovate it, and then go ahead and get some tenants, or whatever the goal is for that particular person.
Yeah, so for the realtor listening, as you said, the relationship is where it starts, and somebody listening wanting to know how the conversation starts, I assume it's a lot of listening and asking the right questions to understand what the dreams and goals are. And not every plan is different, but to focus first on the relationship and, get to trust and like and know the person before you can truly help them.
Now, I want to say to everyone listening, one of the things that has happened at first unintentionally, but now very intentionally for us, is that we now have this referral base. So when people reach out to us via email or through our social media, and they say, hey, I'm in Chicago, and I want to purchase property, where should I start? Well, we can automatically send them directly to Guarantee Rate, and we have Jared Greer, or whoever Jared decides that he wants us to refer them to. And now we're able to correctly refer them to where they can get financing. And then if they ask a question about a realtor, well, yes, we have this realtor, and we give it to them. And then they ask us about contractors, because everyone is so scared about having a bad contractor. We only send them to the contractors that we actually use ourselves for our own project. So you know, those referrals, being able to have your own referral list is vitally important to being able to have repeat clients that come back and they feel confident that you're guiding them in the right direction. Because that first project, because I mean, really, if you don't get it right the first time, as far as giving them strong referrals who actually do the job, they're competent, they complete the mission, then they never come back. But then it's the fact that now that client believes in your advice and your referrals, and then also the fact that you also guided them in a plan that from this first house that you buy or this first multi-unit property that you buy, this next step is use the equity to purchase a second one. The next step is refinance, pull out equity to be able to improve the property that you just bought. You know, giving them options on what they can do to improve what they have and be able to move to the second and then the third project, and then continuing to come back to you because you gave them great advice, you gave them strong referrals, and now you have a trust. And that trust is something that, you know, for many of us, we kind of have realized when the trust is broken, it's never really the same. But if you have that trust from your clients, they're referring all these people to you. And now, what if all these people are from the same community? And the byproduct of all of this is that entire blocks are getting better because all these vacant properties are now being renovated, or houses that have been sitting unkempt are now have great curb appeal because of the effect of what you did with your referrals.
Yeah,
come back.
Yep. Tell us about, you know, kind of the domino effect when you start, you know, rehabbing areas as far as how it affects jobs and schools and taxes and property values. But it's much bigger than just, you know, selling the homes. For someone that is looking to build and grow that network that you just talked about, for, you know, anything you did at the beginning to go out and you know, have those, you know, individuals, whether it's the, you know, the realtor or the attorney, you know, how did you kind of build that network of referrals that you have that's so important to you?
I think there's two things that are real simple to me. One, I ask, who's the best in this particular category? Like, who is the best realtor? Who's the best contractor? Who has a project or a number of projects that you know, when I walk on the ground, I drive my car to that address and I walk through and I say, wow, this is some great work that was done here. And then tracking down who did the work, who was the listing agent, who was the contractor, who all was a part of this project, and making sure that I get their information, introduce myself, and say, hey, when I want to do do something like this, I'm calling you. Oh, or I have a series of clients that would benefit from your services. But doing the work of getting in your car physically and getting out here to other open houses, not just your own open houses, but other open houses, and really knowing your community and where the best work is being done, and getting there and getting that information for who's all a part of these projects, and then making them a part of your team.
Great. And how, you know, tell us how you help and talk to people about what's the correct investment for them, whether it's an investment property or buying a home to earn rental income for those, you know, considering that, how to get started, and what's your advice there?
I think that conversation always starts with equity and cash flow. And what I mean by that is when we're looking at properties that we want to either hold or flip, you know, holding a property means that after we do the renovation, is going to have a certain amount of income per month, you know. And boy, I wish we can show a visual of this, because, you know, there's landscaping, there's, you know, different things you have to do monthly. And then after that is your profit, right? So making it as simple as possible. Like, what he's basically saying, when we talk to individuals about their goals, first we ask them, is this a property that you intend to live in, or is this an investment property?
And then after that, we tell them we decide what properties we want to purchase based on whether we're going to walk in with equity because we're able to buy it below market value, meaning like foreclosures, vacant properties, short sales, things of that nature. And if it's a multi-unit property, which we deal with the majority of the time, whether there's cash flow there. And the home run is if we're able to purchase a property below market value, create equity, and also have cash flow. Now, in the seller's market, which is what we're experiencing all across the country, it becomes far more difficult and a lot more competitive, but the goal remains the same. We advise them to win on the buy because that's where the equity is at, and to make sure that that property, through research, market research, when you rent those units out, that is going to produce cash flow beyond your mortgage and maintenance.
Yeah, and the importance of the data or the market research to back up what your plan or strategy is going in.
Right.
You mentioned it a little bit, but in your experience, how to set up and structure loan products that can act as a catalyst to these other transactions like cash out or renovation. In your experience, what should every first-time home buyer or every agent know about mortgages? We did a whole webinar on reno mortgages, and there's so much out there, and there's so many opportunities that people don't know exist for them. So speak on that as far as the the loan product side.
It's funny because okay, we're firefighters, right? So I was at a car accident yesterday, and one of the medics at the accident came up to me and said, "Hey, just want you to know that I've been following what you all are doing. I just bought a 4-unit building, and well, what do you think I should do next?" And I said, "You bought an FHA, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, you can refinance out of that into conventional so that you can go FHA again." He's like, "Oh, I thought it was a first-time home buyer loan." Like, no, people call it that, but FHA is a product, backed by the government. It doesn't mean you can't do it again. You just can't. You just need to go conventional, and then you can go again. And then guess what? When you refinance that, you can do cash out refinance so that you'll have a down payment for the next property, and then the next one and the next one. You need to look at it as something you can do over and over again. Yeah, that's an excellent point my brother made, because what we find is that people don't know strategy. My brother just gave a strategy. You buy a property, you sit on it for a year and a half, you see if you're eligible to be able to do a cash out refinance. You can improve that property and have capital to be able to buy a second property. The other thing that we notice is that most people, not only do they not know strategy, they also have never heard of certain products. For instance, a 203K renovation loan. Like when you say 203K, what are you talking about? A retirement account? They have never heard of it. So for those of us in this industry that have that knowledge, that can present a strategy or present a loan product that is not commonly known by people, especially people who have never bought property before. Mm-hmm. It's introducing a strategy and a product that allows them to buy below market value. For instance, taking a 203K and using that to purchase a foreclosure or a short sale. Honestly, the first time we used the 203K, it was used on a short sale of a 3,000 square foot Greystone on the south side of Chicago in a neighborhood called Bronzeville. It changed our lives. We would not be on TV. We would not have the real estate portfolio we currently have. We wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for that purchase. And I kind of stumbled upon it because of Google. But imagine having hundreds of people that are listening on this call who are able to educate their clients and say that you can get a foreclosure or a short sale and purchase it and get the money to renovate it with a 203K renovation loan backed by the government, an FHA loan. That also has a 203K consultant that can hold your hand through the process to hold the contractor accountable so that you can even learn the process of doing a renovation and not have the fear of of being completely blind to the process.
It's literally like the safest renovation you can do.
a way to learn and not feel like the contractors are going to be able to get money from you and run. And this is the thing. We know many of you on this call know exactly what we're talking about, but your clients don't. Your clients, somebody on this call has told someone about a 203K and them be completely blindsided and surprised. Because it happens to me every day, all the time. Because people ask me about real estate every single day. It's just a part of my life now. I mean, in fact, more people know us for real estate than they know that we're a firefighter or anything else about our lives.
Right.
And so we then present these strategies and these loan products, and voila, their light goes off, and now forever they go to you first. They come to me and my brother first, and then we then refer them to people like you all to execute on these dreams and these plans.
Yeah, and especially today with inventory being so low as far as sharing what people can do with the renovation loan, and it's tough to find the exact dream home they're looking for, but to find a different home and having the ability to change it and renovate it into exactly the home that they want. But again, without knowing the options, people, in today's tight, low inventory markets are, thinking they're, up against it, and their home's not there.
Right. And in our case, 2.5 years later, I mean, with that house being my primary residence, there was no capital gains tax on that. And the thing is, I stumbled into this strategy. I stumbled into discovering a 203K and renovating below market value on a short sale, and then being able to sell it tax-free on the profit and get a check for almost $80,000 that then it catapulted us into flipping houses and buying more apartment buildings. So it's just, you literally can change someone's life. And that's what I'm talking about, being transformational, by advising them on what is possible and not just stopping at what's in front of you. Oh, we're just going to get them through this one house sale.
And talking about transformational, how can you talk about the specific role the real estate agent can play in transforming neighborhoods and communities through what you're just talking about, renovation and property ownership, and changing neighborhoods one house at a time?
I believe that realtors are gatekeepers to entire communities, because a great realtor knows everything that's going on in that neighborhood or that greater town or city, knowing the infrastructure, knowing where properties are currently being renovated, knowing where the vacant lots are, knowing what the politics are of that community, and identifying opportunities for their clients. Being aware of the latest program for homeowners as far as down payment programs, down payment assistance programs. They are the gatekeepers that when someone comes up to the gate, they say, look, these are all the opportunities of this community, and I love this community, and I would love for you to be a part of it and be able to buy that home or that multi-unit and improve it, and also improve the condition of your family and that entire community that you're moving into.
Yeah, great. Exactly. Spoke earlier about the dream team and having the correct network around you, and talk about how agents benefit and develop this. And I think the lead generation piece here is super important. You said, the agent should know exactly what's going on in their neighborhood. I mean, they should, but to have and know every business in the community and work with them, whether it's, giving a welcome kit to a new buyer and telling them, everyone that's in the neighborhood, or all the contractors or schools or fire department, but talk about how that being, having that strong network results in lead generation from those local alliances and the networking that you do with them.
Yeah, I mean, the referral base or the referral team that you create, they end up sending you clients. It's a two-way street. You send them a client, and that client is very happy with your service to them and the fact that you guided them to that contractor or that real estate attorney or inspector. There's so many different real estate professionals that you're guiding your clients to. And then vice versa, those real estate professionals then say, when someone comes up to them and says, oh, I'm looking for a realtor, now they're like, oh, yeah, this is the realtor you should go with because they really know what's going on in this community and they have a lot of assets that will benefit you. They have a lot of knowledge and they have human resources. They're the go-to person. Here's their number. And, and with enthusiasm, having other real estate professionals be your referrals. And then you also have the clients who are now giving you referrals because they see that you see the bigger picture and you're part of a bigger community and team. I mean, for us, people even just this morning when I was leaving the firehouse, people call us Hollywood. And the thing about being quote unquote Hollywood is that you're well aware that you have to create a brand for yourself. And as a realtor or a loan officer, you have to be aware that you're building a brand. It's your reputation. It's what people think about when your name is spoken in a room that you're not in. Mm-hmm. And whether you really care about your clients and you really care about that community that you're selling homes or financing homes for, you have a brand, whether you know it or not. So now it's up to everyone on this call to be intentional about your reputation and your brand based on how you help people, because we're all in the helping business. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, and you said you want to identify and work with the best of the best, and that's the reputation that you want others to think of you at. Yeah, we do a top agent series, and some of the big agents focus mainly, some agents it's got to be marketing too and lead generation, but to focus solely on the relationship. And some are 80, 90, even more percent of their business just comes from referrals with the community or with the dream team here that you just talked about, whether it's builders or shop owners or other people in the community.
I mean, absolutely. Like, our philosophy is we build relationships before we build houses.
Yeah.
We build relationships before we build houses. You can put that on a t-shirt. Yeah. Because if you build the relationships, everything else will follow. And that's what we're actively fostering every single day. And that is why we have arrived where we are, and the successful people on the list that you just spoke of are successful because all of those people chose to build relationships before they started to build anything else.
And when you started, did it happen organically with the relationships that you now have, or were you, specifically going out and looking for different groups or building it into your, time blocking each day to go out and forge new relationships? How did you kind of grow those relationships at the beginning?
Right, because before TV, there was going to real estate mixers. Before TV, there was us going to open houses and actively speaking to all the different people that are walking through the open house with us. Yeah. Right. The before and after. Before TV, we were doing all of this simply because we wanted the best contractors to hire. Right. We were looking for realtors and other professionals that can educate us on what is really going on and what the best strategy is. We were doing all of this stuff for ourselves, so that was an organic process of making ourselves knowledgeable. But then after TV, things kind of switched because now a lot of people were seeking us out for information, and so then it behooved us to actually have the best team possible to be able to refer people to, because now we have a responsibility because our name is on it. The Downing brothers sent me to this contractor. They sent me to this loan officer. They sent me to whoever, and our name is on it. So we want to make sure that we have gotten the best of the best so that people don't frown on us and say, man, why did they send us over there, man? I don't like the Downing brothers anymore.
You know, I don't ever want that. I don't ever want that to happen. So we're doing our research, and it's important. I know, you know, COVID has affected a lot of things, and we're finally starting to come out of that. But it's so important to physically go to work sites, go to these houses, go to meet people in person, and see with your own eyes what's going on, and meet people in person to see what is really going on. So you can know for yourself and be confident that you're picking the right people to be on your team. You're picking the right people to refer your clients to. Put boots on the ground and actually see the neighborhood. You should not be surprised about some development that's being built on this street or that street or whatever, because you're driving up and down these communities and not just relying on looking at a GPS Google search.
Yeah, absolutely. How can, you be relevant or be, known in the community if you're not out there, if you're in your office every day? That's a great point, great advice. Even if you're walking the streets and meeting business owners and people in the neighborhood, being involved in, philanthropy or being involved in, charities, things like that. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Let's switch to, you talked about kind of, what you're good at or what your focus is, but how the real estate agent can kind of settle into their niche and find the right clients and know, you talk about the dream part of Dream Plan Execute is trying to choose the problems that you're looking to solve. So how do you kind of advise that you promote your specialty or what you are known for as a real estate agent, or just the niche kind of find you after what you're good at or what you're successful at?
We believe in making announcements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We take our Twitter, our LinkedIn, our Instagram, our Facebook, and we tell people exactly what we do or what we've done in the past. We tell, if we see an announcement about something that is relevant to, let's say, multi-unit properties and how you can get a home buyer's assistance, down payment, whatever it is, when we see information, we're constantly pouring out these free gems of information, and then saying, if you want to learn more, you can contact us directly. So it's like letting people know, you're knowledgeable about a particular part of this real estate game, and then encouraging them to call you for more specifics or contact you for more specifics.
Yeah, and what do you think is the best way to show buyers, for example, how the process works, something they may not know about, like the renovation process, or the best way to help someone understand the pros and cons of buy and rent or flip and raise capital? Like, how is is that part of how you market yourself, or what's the best way to start those conversations with clients and buyers?
I mean, for us, I don't, we do everything. We're like, we do a lot of content,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
I think what separates us sometimes is that we will make some content that is on site. Like, we can be standing in a property, in front of a property, or we're on a panel with other professionals that are credible, talking about a particular strategy, and taking that little 15-second, 20-second, clip, and having that on our social media, so people see that and say, wow, I didn't know that. And so then they think of you from now on because of that particular information you just, gave.
Yeah,
And so
the book you guys have too, like, talk about simplifying everything.
Oh, yeah.
And something that people understand. So talk about the idea there and how you put that together. I think that's a great piece.
Well, okay, so our first book is a visual strategy guide for real estate, right? And in that book, we talk about each real estate professional, at length, and what they do for, I guess you can look at them as the client, or you can look at them as like the mastermind that's about to bring all of these people together into a super team. We made it family friendly too. It's because we made it into a cartoon. because we also thought to ourselves, okay, the adults in that household will see this book and they may think to themselves, oh, I want to show my high schooler or my 8th grader this book to plant a seed in their mind. But then when they start to go through the book, you know, we have a glossary that gives all these real estate terms. We have it all in a step-by-step, literally 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, all the way. We have 9 steps.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have our story in there so that they see that we're just regular guys, you know, some kids from the south side of Chicago. And we went to school, high school, college, everything, got a job. And then we put this team together and we're able to make a way for ourselves.
Yeah,
and so
branding yourself, that's a great thing, and a realtor could duplicate, is just putting together all of the value they bring, including some of their personality, and, you know, getting it out there so people you know, kind of know them as a person and know the value they can bring, things they may not thought of, to contact them for help with anything with buying or selling.
Yeah, and absolutely, everybody should tell their story.
Yeah.
And be relatable, because when you tell your story, then people can relate to you. And realize too, I think there's a lot of potential clients out there that are scared. They feel like they don't have enough money, their credit score isn't high enough, that they're not smart enough, that, you know, they don't have the ability to choose the right realtor or loan officer or contractor. And they're looking for someone like you to give them that comfort, to educate them, to teach them, to build their confidence up.
Let them know that they don't know what they don't know, and they probably are prepared.
And so if you're creating content on your social media, you're there to tell them, I'm here to help you, and you are able to do this. No matter where you are, you can, you know, improve your credit. You can save your money up. You can take advantage of this down payment assistance program, and I'm going to show you how. Come on over here. I'm going to show you how. I was just like you once upon a time, and I'm going to show you how.
Yeah, that's all part of the first dream step. What type of specific content are you guys using or finding that's successful for engagement with your clients and the business that comes into you?
I think Instagram is our strongest content, but I mean, we're on, I mean,
that's the platform, but our strongest content is like talking about the 203K renovation loan
videos, right? Is that what you mean? Like a picture versus a video versus, you know, short content, 30 seconds. And actually, I think the shorter your content is, because people have short attention spans, if you can do something in 30 seconds or less that really grabs their attention, then they'll then contact you for more information. The longer something is, the less people tend to actually get all the way to the point. So if you can get it done in a short amount of time in a video, if you choose to do that, the better.
Agreed. Do you have an example of a success story of maybe a realtor that you've worked with in the past, who they have, you know, succeeded and helped the clients do the same? How they kind of dominoed into improving the community, looking back?
Oh yeah, like our realtor, Rachel Ruffin. I remember when we first met her, what was it, 7, 8 years ago now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, a good year for her was to get 25 deals done. For her, an okay year now is 50 deals. And the thing that she learned was to talk about the rents for each neighborhood, being able to establish for her potential client or her actual client, okay, this is what you want to put your apartments up for sale for after you make this buy. So she's like continuously helping them or advising them, okay, these are the property manager. These are the people that you want to deal with, and then they're gonna keep coming back to her because she's providing even more information.
Yeah. Plus, back then she didn't have any social media, She didn't have a website, no social media, nothing, you know. So then, but she met us, and you know, she's observing all the things that we're doing, and now you can find her. Like if you put Rachel Ruffin in on almost any social media platform, you're going to find her, and she also has a website, and you know, and talks in terms of strategy rather than just transaction.
So yeah, so you're the realtors. Rachel, part of your network is, you know, her conversation is the same strategy that you're preaching. It's helping, you know, the clients with their lives and a bigger picture and thinking about the community and the people first.
Right. And if she was on this call right now, she can name, you know, I don't know, she can name a lot of clients who are not just one-time clients. She has a lot of 2-time, 3-time clients. We're not the only ones.
Yeah, client should be the client for life. Yeah, we should have included her. We should have had her join you guys. We got about 15 minutes. Are there any questions, Danielle, from any of our listeners? I see we got a big group. Anything that anyone wants to ask Anton or Anthony?
Yeah, sure, definitely. We have a few questions here. The first one being, what do real estate agents need to keep in mind when suggesting a multifamily unit versus a single property unit?
They need to keep in mind what is the condition of the property, because the condition of the property will direct how much rent they can get in that neighborhood. So if they need to make a certain amount of money, they need to consider how much of a renovation, and am I going to do that through using a 203K, or am I going to just buy it straight up and then just use cash and do renovations to get it to the level that I can make the income, the revenue on their properties for it to make sense. So they you know, sometimes people, especially first-time home buyers, they look at a property and they just say, I'm going to buy it and then I'm just going to rent it, or I'll just increase the rent on the current tenants when their leases are up. But it's not that simple. You can't increase it if the condition of the property doesn't reflect that.
Be arbitrary.
It can't just be arbitrary. It has to be value there. And are you willing to make that, to do the work in order to add value to a particular property to be able to get the rent, the revenue that you desire?
Okay, great. Another question we have here regarding 203K loans is, how do you sell the benefits and how do you combat any pushback?
One thing that I noticed back then is that in Chicago, a lot of single family homes cost the same as a 3-unit apartment building. And I was thinking, like, your client may be thinking, oh, I want to rent single family homes because that's what I know. And being able to show the differences, and then, you know, the mortgage amount being what it is, like for us, the first few apartment buildings that we bought were in like middle of the road neighborhoods. They weren't like home runs and things like that. It's like, oh, you don't need to buy $1 million property to make this a business. Yeah. I kind of interpret, I had another direction I want to go with that question. For someone who has pushback on doing a 203K, I would say to them, this is the safest, most handheld, guided type of purchase that you can do. I mean, you have your realtor and your loan officer and your real estate attorney guiding you through purchasing this property below market value. They're all helping you to negotiate, and then it doesn't end there. After closing, you still have a 203K consultant working with you, holding your hand through the renovation process. And then I would take it another step forward. The third part of this, the renovation is complete, and now you can get a property manager who can hold your hand through collecting rent and dealing with the maintenance of the property. So if you, by using a 203K, you have all of these real estate professionals who are there to help you through this process you've never been through before, all the way to the end, even when you do the scary thing of becoming a landlord.
Awesome.
Did I answer
Okay.
the
Yeah,
question?
those are all. Yeah. Those are all great tips for sure. Next question here we have is, where do you find distressed, maintenance deferred, or vacant properties to invest in?
Okay. In most major cities, well, we'll start with Chicago first because they have different names depending on what city you're in. But for instance, in Chicago, we have a program called the Cook County Land Bank Authority, and these are properties that the county has purchased from tax sales and then offers on their website for purchase. And these are all vacant properties. Most of them are distressed and vacant and have been that way for 2 or 3+ years. And you can go there, find that property, purchase it well below market value. But they require a lot more work. These are properties that, are not for the faint of heart. So, you have to have an experienced contractor to do this, but that's one way you can find it.
And there's land banks all over the country. There's one in Houston, for instance.
Right.
So
Houston, St. Louis, Detroit, but they just have different names for those. But I mean, if you ask enough realtors or loan officers in a particular municipality, you'll find out whether there's an organization, a government organization that actually has properties that have been taken from the tax sale. Or you can do it yourself as an individual. Go to a tax sale to purchase properties, purchase the taxes, and then over the course of 1 or 2 years, be able to take possession of a property. Depending on the state, there's different rules for that. Then you can actually go to banks themselves, especially small banks like credit unions and community banks that have bank-owned properties. And the possibility that they may even tell you about properties that soon will be in foreclosure because they have these lists. And this is, again, developing relationships so that you can have access to bank-owned properties. And then there's off-market deals. And so for some of the realtors who are very experienced in a particular neighborhood or community, they have their ear to the street. People are constantly coming to them and telling them that grandma or auntie or whoever is about to sell a property and they haven't even listed it on the MLS yet. And that is a way to not compete against other buyers.
Great, all good. Great answer to that question. Anything else, Danielle?
Yep, just one more here. Do you ever recommend house hacking where you live in one of the units of your multi-unit investment property?
Yes, emphatically. Emphatically, yes.
yes.
Something you've done?
Because one thing about how that I like about house hacking, even right now when I think about this, if you purchase, for example, if you purchased a 3-unit apartment building in February of 2020, right before the pandemic started, and you ended up losing your job, but you were living in that property and you had the other 2 units paying for the mortgage and maintenance. And maybe you had a strategy where both of those people were subsidized tenants, meaning that they had Section 8 or some other way of a government-funded program to pay for the mortgage, meaning that that's guaranteed money that continues to come in even as people lose their jobs. Now you have a roof over your head while you try to figure out new employment or whatever your next strategy is, starting a new business, whatever it is.
Right. Especially if you're single, if you just have extra bedrooms inside of the unit you're living in or the house that you have, rent out those units. I mean, that's pure. I mean, that's house hacking in its purest form.
Right. I mean, house hacking comes in various forms, whether you're just renting out bedrooms or you've rented out units. Either way it goes, being able to own a property that you don't have to use your earned income to pay for the mortgage, it is a great strategy. And of course, it's all circumstantial for where people are in their lives. Meanwhile, you're building equity and positioning yourselves for the next move, where they come back to any of the loan officers in here to be able to do a refinance, to be able to move on to the next property, because they've been saving up all of their money.
Great. Yeah, I like you said, some people are just so hesitant to do it, and there's the people that are stepping up and taking the chance and making the moves are the ones that are benefiting from it. But great.
Hey, I will say one other thing. Now, this is definitely some 007 James Bond type of thing. Okay, just hear me out. But you could try to figure out a way, especially in the market we're in now, where you purchase a property and the tenants have no clue that you purchased the property. You have a property manager who then introduces themselves to the current tenants. You move into the property and you're just another tenant like the rest of them. They have no clue that you own the property. They only engage with the property manager for the collection of rent or any problems that go on with the building. Meanwhile, you're in there just like everybody else, and someone complains and says, oh, something didn't happen. The grass didn't get cut. They didn't dump the garbage. And you're like, man, we got to get on these people about cutting the grass and dumping the garbage. How dare they? And then you call the property manager and say, hey, man, get on top of it. Now, I'm just saying, it's a possibility.
Yeah, great. Super interesting perspective from both of you, and great advice. So tell me, what is next this year for both you guys? What's the best way to get info on, maybe your podcast, or tell us what we're doing the rest of the year besides the new show?
Well, you can definitely find us on Instagram, Facebook under The Downing Brothers. Keep it real simple like that. We have a TV show to coming out on True TV July 8th at 9:30 Central. So I guess it's 10:30 Eastern, and you can go the other way towards the Pacific. It'll be 7:30 Pacific. And our show is called Backyard Bar Wars. It's a competition show that has elements of comedy and construction. Most importantly, the big reveals. When you see that before and after of what we've done to someone's backyard, you'll be able to see me have a better bar than my brother most of the time. How about never? But it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you really love those big reveals from renovations, you're going to love this show. And, a chance to smile, laugh, be entertained by the competition, and at the end of the day, enjoy the construction that happens on the show. So that's next week on July 8th on True TV.
Oh, next week. Great.
Backyard Bar Wars.
To checking that out. Sounds super interesting. Anything else that you want to end with or say to our realtor audience before we let you go?
I just want everyone to open their hearts and their minds to the possibility that you can both be, close on transactions, but also be transformational. That you can really help people to grow their portfolios, and that they trust you and come back to you over and over again. And that the byproduct of everything that you're doing, as you help people, as you be of service at the forefront of your mind, that you will be able to help build better communities and better cities across this country. We all have a part to play.
Well said, Anthony. Thoroughly enjoyed talking to you guys. Again, thank you so much for being here and giving us your time, and look forward to watching the show next week, and best of luck to everything you have going on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Remember, everybody, dream, plan, execute.
Love it, you guys. Our next month's webinar also on the builder business. So join us August 4th. We have our National Builder Program Manager, Jim Colella, and he will talk about what every agent needs to know about new construction as far as, pursuing builder business, aligning, working with, learning the builder game to add that to your book of business as a real estate agent. And we love to hear from you. agents@rate.com is the email address for the Agent Advantage team. Feedback, what else we can provide to you, our realtor audience, for an upcoming webinar. And again, appreciate you being here today. Enjoy the rest of your day and be well.